Today, I'm going to talk a bit about leaky gut syndrome. Now, leaky gut must be something new for some of you, and that's okay. We're going to discuss about the definitions, the causes, and what kind of impact does leaky gut do to our body, and also what are the signs and symptoms, among many others. So let's start about what is leaky gut. Leaky gut is initially an intestinal permeability disruptions. So our gut, within our gut, there's this thin lining, and this lining has made up of bridges, and the bridge itself is called tight junctions. Now, this tight junctions is, I think it's found several years ago, and it's being popular, but it's popularized after Dr. Alicia Fasano's found zonulin and the leaky gut connections to autoimmune disease. Now, this tight junction is supposed to protect our bloodstreams from any kind of unwanted substances that is circling around our gut. And because we eat so many foods, and probably we also take any substances in the air and inside of our environment and into our gut, including like viruses, bacteria, and anything like that, our gut is filled with so many things that we don't want to be in our body initially. And the thing that protects our body more is these tight junctions, this gut lining that's supposed to be closely tied to only allow certain things to pass through the bloodstream, such as like the nutrients, the vitamins, minerals that are being absorbed from our food, but is tight enough or small enough for any virus, bacteria, and unwanted substances to pass through. And that is the health conditions of the tight junctions. Now, when there is a leaky gut conditions or leaky gut syndromes, this tight junction is being disrupted. And the disruption causes so many things, so many unwanted things that circling around our gut, our digestive systems, into the bloodstreams, which then makes and activate our immune system. So that is the what. Now let's move to the how. How are leaky gut being made? Well, there are so many things that can trigger a leaky gut conditions, from food sensitivities or the use of antibiotics that is not proper, and continuous use of drugs and medications that can hamper the gut lining can also be one of the causes. And any gut imbalances like gut flora imbalances can also trigger the leaky gut syndrome. What are the signs and symptoms of leaky gut? I think there is so many things that correlated with leaky gut, and it makes us hard to diagnose leaky gut just based on signs and symptoms alone. So we need to properly check if there is any disruption into the gut lining. So we do need to check first if someone is having a leaky gut syndrome or not. But there are certain conditions or diseases or disorder that are also connected and correlated to leaky gut syndrome. Now, when these diseases or disorders are present, we can now then check if this person has any leaky gut syndrome or not. So what are these disorders? The first one is digestive issues, which makes sense because leaky gut involves so much in our gut and our digestive system. So any digestive issues such as chronic constipation, chronic diarrhea, chronic bloating, that's it, can also be caused by leaky gut syndromes. Second is hormonal imbalances. It might be very subtle. The connections between hormone systems and the gut might be very subtle, but the fact is there are so many gut microbiomes that play roles in hormone production. So when this gut microbiome environment is being disrupted because of the presence of leaky gut syndrome, then the hormone production also get disrupted. Number three, autoimmune disease. Because of there are so many unwanted substances that goes to the bloodstream, it's already being predicted that our immune system will try to attack those unwanted substances because it is being accepted as a foreign substance or dangerous. And this is a very normal thing. But it's not normal when these unwanted substances can actually be killed because it's not really a virus. It's probably just like some particle of the virus, so it cannot go away. And so this can create like a confusion in our own immune systems and start to attack more and more until it also attacks our own cells. And that is when the conditions become autoimmune disease. Anyway, this is a very simple sample of how autoimmune disease is being triggered or created, but the real process is actually much more complicated than that. Number 4, chronic fatigue syndrome and or fibromyalgia. I put these two together because both of them are related to fatigue or energy productions, where in both disease, our energy production is being halted or disrupted. And this is because many of the gut microbiomes also play a role in our energy productions, which when there is any leaky gut syndromes present, then our energy productions also become disrupted. Number 5 is skin issues. There are so many skin issues that correlate with leaky gut syndrome, such as acne and psoriasis, dermatitis, and many, many more. And if the presentations of the skin disease or skin disorders are chronic and it's not an infection, then it's probably connected to leaky gut syndrome. Number 6 is food allergies or sensitivities. When we found someone with food allergies, but mostly with food sensitivities, we can also check for any present leaky gut. Because on so many food sensitivity cases, we also found that many patients are actually not having good and perfect food sensitivity, but a leaky gut syndrome instead that manifests as food sensitivities. Number 7 is joint pain. Aside from rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease, there are also osteoarthritis that is not an autoimmune disease, but correlated with inflammation. And we know that inflammation can also be caused by leaky gut syndrome. So when someone present with osteoarthritis, we can also suspect that this person maybe have a leaky gut syndrome. Next, we move into how to heal the leaky gut syndromes. There are so many things that we need to do actually, but I will divide it into 3 steps that we need to do to really heal your gut and make the tight junctions better. The first one is to reduce the inflammation. Now, silent inflammation is everywhere, and at some point it can trigger the disruptions or damage into the gut junctions. When this happens, it will create a leaky gut syndrome. So when we reduce this silent inflammation, especially our gut inflammation, we also help our gut to repair its lining because it's not going to be disrupted by the inflammation process. Second step is to nourish your gut. our gut needs so many good nutrients that is directed into the gut, means that it's beneficial for the gut and gut lining to really heal leaky gut. So make sure that you supply your daily meals with many things that will be beneficial for your gut, such as lean protein, less sugar, of course, and also bone broth is very, very good for your gut, and also probiotic food, and also foods that contain zinc, vitamin A, and magnesium. Step number 3 is to rebalance your gut flora. Now, after the 2 steps, we need to make our gut microbiome healthier. And you can do this by simply taking probiotics foods such as kefir, yogurt, or anything that is fermented like sauerkraut and kimchi. These are the foods that's going to nourish and rebalance your gut microbiome. And also don't forget to take some prebiotics because your gut microbiome will need it as their food. So these are the 3 steps that you can take to really heal leaky gut syndromes. If you haven't subscribed to my channels, please subscribe. I always put on new videos every 2 weeks, and yes, I will see you in another 2 weeks with another videos. And I hope this one really get the highlights of leaky gut for you. Thank you. Bye-bye.